underlying energy is the Ace of Wands. So we're getting some energy here that's all about new beginnings, and it's all about excitement and where that leads, new projects, new creative ventures, etc. So this is an awesome card to get, especially as you're underlying energy. So I know why you look. I know you thinking like, why is she giving me the butt look? Well, see, the thing is, the Ace of Wands this seems to be about the beginning. It doesn't mean that it is going to start. I think this is in regards to starting something new, starting something passionate, something that has, excitement in it. But I don't really know about that, because considering the rest of the cards, I feel like this is in regards to it not having it started. You know what I'm saying? So you want it started, you're trying to get it started, but there's just something kind of keeping it from happening. So your heart of your reading is the Three of Pentacles. So this is talking about planning for the future, discussing with a group. So this is possibly for some of you guys that are single. This is either you figuring that out within yourself, but in regards to someone that you're dating, or this is talking about your relationship. And I really feel like this is heavily on relationships or someone that you're interacting with, because this is talking about planning for the future with a group. And this is about your love life too. So now, I'll explain why I say there's other people involved in a moment. But this is talking about planning for the future. There's some practical stuff is going on. Now, the heart of your reading is also seen as also the problem. Like, what is the issue going on right now? What's happening? Okay, and we have some issues in regards to communicating what needs to be communicated in regards to planning for the future. What practical stuff need to be discussed, and what is the holdup? What's the blockage? Well, there seems to be some kind of conflict going on. There's some back and forth. There's no really seeing eye to eye right now. And I feel like this is just pretty much, as you see, there is nobody seeing anything, okay? Because they all have blindfolds trying to knock that beehive out. And think about this. When you see the card here for the Five of Wands, you see them thinking they're smashing a piñata, but they're really about to just bust open a bunch of bees. Like, that is something you do not want to do. When you hit a beehive, they're after you. They're on you for life, okay? They're trying to take your life, guys. So when I seen this card, especially crossed with the Three of Pentacles, my immediate intuition was like, yo, somebody's totally not seeing what's going on, or they just rather not see it. There's a lot of shit going on for y'all. I'm just gonna be blunt. But I feel like right now, there's no one seeing eye to eye right now. There's conflicts going on. And I think you guys are aiming for the same goal, but you're just not sure what that goal is, considering that the beehive is the piñata in this scenario, okay? So y'all discussing stuff, y'all wanting to talk, y'all wanting to really kind of get to an end goal, but your end goal is pretty, you're not seeing that end goal together, and there is some risk in regards to that, really kind of like, it's playing with fire or playing with bees in a way. So there's some conflict going on, definite conflict. And eventually the beehive might be hit, and you know what? That's something you just guys, how to deal with, how to handle that. But it's trying to get to the end point. It's trying to get to the core of the problem. And the core of the problem has something to do with, beginning something new. All right. So what practical stuff need to be communicated? What is that all about, right? Well, let's start from the very beginning. Your history, let's talk about the past, okay? The past talks about the Four of Wands. So that talks about moving. That talks about a higher level of commitment. This is an awesome card to get in a love reading, but this is in the past. This is just your foundation. So that's telling me that this is what it's built up upon. Some sort of commitment between you and your partner, okay? Now, for some of y'all, that are single, this could be like reaching a level of like commitment that's very it's wonderful, but I guess it doesn't have to necessarily be in a commitment relationship per se. Maybe this is like a wanting to be dating exclusively, right? You wanting to date exclusively. Like, okay, you play the game, you found the one, you want to delve deep, okay? Not technically boyfriend and girlfriend yet, but you guys really just kind of need to. You guys are dating, exclusively now. Your concentration is on that. So that for those of you that are single, man or female, this is for y'all. But I feel like for the couples, y'all have reached a point in your relationship where it's like, this is my boo. This is going on. And I think that's awesome. So congratulations to y'all for that. But I feel like right now in your present, okay, I feel like there is definitely some communication going on or there's some communication that's rather clear and honest. And honestly can be brutal if said. Now the King of Swords, he's usually seen as a pretty brutal guy. He's very honest. He's very good at communicating and a respect that is detached from his emotions. He's pretty cold. And he doesn't really... I mean, I can't really say that. What I was about to say was he can't really decipher from what's wrong and what's right, because the truth isn't wrong or right, which is honest, it is true. But the King of Swords, he knows what's right from wrong, but he's very, very, very much about honesty, and he does not play when it comes to being honest. You don't want to mess with this guy if you ain't being honest, if you know what I'm saying. So with the King of Swords being here, the King of Swords being here, I feel like there's some clear communication going on here. Either there's a necessity to be very blunt right now, or there's somebody just communicating, and they're not playing. So there's possibly even someone that has a bit of trust issues, because I see the King of Swords that has a bit of, like, he not just necessarily trust issues, but he has serious. He puts everything in trust. Trust is important. And I feel like there is possibly someone that is very adamant about trust right now. This is definitely somebody that's in your life, because you know how I say about kings being external energy and queens being you guys, the viewer. I mean, it doesn't always have to be this way. This could be you guys really wanting trust, both of you guys really wanting trust, or just that your partner is really kind of laying it on thick, being, honest and very clear cut about what he or she wants in their relationship, in their future. This could be someone that is kind of restricting, that passion, because they're not, the King of Swords, he's not the King of Wands. So there's not really much you can be passionate about. There's no passion with him, okay, with the King of Swords. The King of Swords has more passion towards the truth, logic, intelligence, communication. That's the passion. But as far as the energy front, he can be as cold as ice. Okay? So, I mean, it's not that he's trying to be cold as ice, like I said. That's just how he is, and it's not right. Everybody has their quirks and their, their, you know what I'm saying. So I feel like there's somebody that's just really communicating in a way that is that's rather upfront. They're being very upfront right now. They're conveying their message to you in the clearest way that they possibly can. And they're kind of, I guess, maybe being a little bit detached. So they're backing away in respect of that relationship. So perhaps this is new to them. They're being kind of cold because they don't really know, they're just not sure about this, I feel. So that's just, the King of Swords, he gets cold like that. He gets brutally honest because he's protecting himself, okay? Because, I mean, he's got a soft edge inside. He acts stern and tough because he's protecting that outside. So if there's somebody that's around you right now that's acting like that, okay, you know what I'm saying? So, but this could be someone that's a Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, more so Aquarius than anything, since this is a king as well. So be mindful for that. Now, this is the good part about this whole thing. Like I said before, the King of Swords has a fudgy side, a fudgy inside. This is talking about him having a definite fudgy inside, okay? I feel like this is somebody that's melting like putty, okay? Someone that is all about love, all in their feels, very much intuitive because they listen to the messages received to them, but I don't feel like this is an intuitive message. For some of y'all, this could be you guys really kind of connecting with yourselves, mastering your ability to control your emotions, because the King of Cups is very good at, it's very much the master of controlling his emotions. Now, the King of Cups, the kings period, are all masteries of what their elements are. So for him, water, emotions, intuition, receiving messages from the oracle or the source. This is somebody that's very, very much in tune to, to the signs, the senses, and things like that. Okay. But I feel like I said before, I feel like this is just a moment in time where there has to be hardcore communication. When it comes to this beginning, this exciting new beginning, when it comes to the Three of Pentacles, there is a need to be very serious. And you'll have that moment where you guys can chill out and be like, okay, well, everything's been hashed out. I love you, and that's okay. And then you're going to get that. I feel like the King of Swords is not trying to be a dick. Male or female. She's not trying to be a bitch. He's not trying to be a dick. There's none of that. I feel like he's just being tough right now because he sees his future very seriously. And especially a future with you because he wants it to work. Or she because she wants it to work. This is somebody that's very, very serious right now because they don't want to fuck it up. And I'm not saying this to be rude, okay? And I feel like you guys were wanting to do this shit as well. Like, you guys are really wanting to make this shit work because nobody wants to go back out there in the dating world and be like, hey, I fucking wanted a relationship, but no, we didn't plan shit well. And we got mad, So, I mean, if you kind of see where the King of Swords is coming from, always kind of being that honest, harsh person, he's really just trying to protect himself. He's really trying to protect what he loves, which is himself and the person he loves. And there's nothing wrong with that. But there has to be a time and place where there's some need to be serious. Unfortunately for the King of Swords, he conveys that in a very harsh way. Like, he's very, very harsh. And I'm not saying that this person that you're dealing with is somebody, okay, this could be somebody that you love. Obviously, they got you here, the Four of Wands. So, they ain't trying to be rude. They are definitely trying to be rude. I'm not saying it's the greatest thing, and it doesn't feel good when you're going through the King of Swords process. But when you understand him or her and you understand where they're coming from, they'll soften up like putty. They'll soften up like the King of Cups. Okay, everything's gonna be fine. You just gotta go through the serious patch because this is talking about something that's very, very serious. All right. Now, this is your advice for the next couple weeks. So, the world. Right? Very interesting one. This is talking about completing a cycle. Okay? Completing a cycle, successfully. It's another card that's ruled by Saturn. Saturn is just like the Tower, unexpected change. If you don't do what you're supposed to do, or do what you believe you should have done, or whatever have you, there's no, like, I always say that this if there's a consequence. I mean, I believe in consequences, like, to your actions, regardless if they're good or bad. Like, say if you bake some bread, you put it in the oven, and you wait exactly an hour, and you take it out, it's gonna be delicious. That's your consequence. It's a good consequence. There's good and bad consequences, or there's consequences that don't have any kind of stance being good or bad. Okay, and there's nothing wrong with those things. I don't want people to think that because the Tower comes up, you did something bad. Because the Tower is a surprise or a shock. It doesn't necessarily mean that you did something terrible. So I just want to put that out there. Okay? Everything's neutral. The world is just as neutral, but it's more happy and more light-hearted. And it's not so much unexpected as the Tower. So this is about new beginnings, starting and ending of an old situation, or your cycle. Okay, You're not going to get the new beginning just yet. Of course, when this card comes up, it's on its way, okay? But you're tying up loose ends. This is what it's all about. This is about celebrating where you've been, where you've gotten. And I feel like the great thing about this card and the biggest message that it's trying to tell you, because when you get to like the ending of a cycle, like let's say, like high school, for some of you guys that have graduated, for those of you that have went through the process of finding a job and whatever, right? Anything that seems really big to you guys. Okay, I'm gonna use graduation as an example because this is the best one I could think of. When you're sitting down, right, we do all those hard ass years of fucking high school, y'all. 4. Okay, that's a lot of time. And that's a lot of dedication, a lot of work, a lot of patience with the teachers and all that goodness. You sit in that cathedral or football field or wherever. I was homeschooled, so I did it in a church. You sitting there and you're listening to people's speeches, and I mean, let's be honest. How many of y'all actually listen to those speeches? Because I know I blinked out and I was thinking about all the long 4 years that I did, and all those, the turmoil, the arguments, the struggle. But I also remember the good times, the happy times, the times we celebrated, and the times that we had birthdays, the times that with the field trips and all the fun we had. I remember all those times, and this is pretty much what this is like. And I'm going to continue. You're thinking about all this stuff, right? And then you go up, you get on the stage, and you get that diploma, and you look at, it's a fake diploma, by the way. And you shake that person's hand, and it's a completion. You completed school. Your new beginning is about to start, like you put in applications, all that goodness, right? That was all in the, high school years, But you did it. You done it. You got what you did. You got what you needed. You got what you needed. You've graduated. This is what this is about. The Wheel of Fortune. We graduate in different ways throughout our entire life. Our graduation in high school, that's just like a big grandiose way or a very clear way to describe how we're going to, graduate in different phases of our life that don't have ceremonies like that. So, but when we're in that graduation, we are appreciating the effort, the time, the thing that we have attained at that moment. This is all about recognizing how far you've come. It's also about recognizing the greatness that you've obtained because of your hard work. You guys got this, y'all. That's a graduation of its own. You got a BF. You got a GF. You got somebody that you're exclusively dating. All that hard work of dating. Like, dating is hard. And you got it. You got it. That is beautiful. That's a graduation all its own. It's inner. It don't have to be outward. I mean, the four of wands is more outward than inward, but let's be honest. Whatever. There is a inner happiness and graduation that goes on in us when we finally get our partners. This is the same thing. I think this is really talking about, okay, yes, the future is coming. The future is big. The future is grand. We've got to the point where we are in a relationship now and we have to think about the future.